I could almost say to you, I'm speechless. I've been writing poems since I was quite a bear, not a bear, but a wee. What was I done? I right. I just did it. It's just for fun because I noticed things. I think I took them in very correctly. Do you get what I mean? And I remember one time some friends from Midkirk were going back to the wife's parents for a wee holiday, and they said to my mammy, "We would fair like to take your Josie Wares." And I did go with them, and I wrote home to Midkirk just about every day, everything that I came upon, I wrote about it to them, and it made them laugh. And unknown to me, my cousins, and I had a fleet of cousins, to put it mildly, a wheen of cousins, and they would come in and say to my father, and that only letter for Josie the day, and they all sat and read it. I couldn't help doing it. I just admired things and I noticed things. There were probably thousands of other things that I wasn't even taking in. You know, I would be oblivious to them, but there were certain things that I came upon so vividly that I felt I had to write them down for my own sake. Brilliant. And what can I say? Delighted beyond fathoms that other folk like them and would like to have a wee book about them. How lovely. I'll read that, Hughie. Is it all right to speak in Scots? You think it's quite the thing just right now. Things very close to my heart. No kidding. Very, very close. Not necessarily personal, but among the folk I grew up with. All that kind of thing. A big fire on at night and my father singing and us all gathered round and laughing and carrying on one thing and another. I loved it. That's what I wrote about. I couldn't help myself. I just couldn't help myself. So a lot of your stuff. At home, people I knew, things that I remember as a young person, and I used to go not to visit my own grandparents because they were further down in Scotland, and a friend of mine and her old grandpa and granny. And I did pick up that a lot of older Scots spoke a very good Scots. And young though I was quite taken with it. I was quite taken with it. And I thought, that does a beautiful job. Or that does a job so beautifully. I like that. And I was just taking it all in. I wasn't trying to be smart or anything. I just took it all in. And I would say that in any Scots poems that I have written, they'll be like that, please God. Aye. The funny one to start with a Christmas poem. A cold winter's night, starn heich in the lift, a lass wi' a bairnie, ahint a snowdrift. Come in through the byre, step over the straw, draw ben to the fire, afore the day daw. The bairnie will sleep by the peat's sputtering flame, oor warmen place, lassie, this nicht is your hame. Come morning, the snow showed nae footprints at all, though the lass with the bairnie had stolen them all, and we minded another a lang while afore, wi' a bairn in her arms, and the beasts round the door. All this, the family days in Muskirk. Big fire on at night. My father, he sang songs. He sang to us at night. So I've written this and called it Heritage. In my own way, I think of this wee poem as a kind of Scottish lullaby. Ye winter, at nicht, the yet out by steekit, the wind in the lum, the kitchen, peat reekit. We gathered around in the firelit flame and listened to stories o' a far ancient flame. My father sang songs that lulled us to sleep, o' seal maids and kelpies that soonged in the deep. He sang o' great deeds by giants o' men, sang o' watercress burn, sang o' mist-covered ben. As the fire was smoort and the nicht drave awa, we dreamed heroes' dreams till morning's cock craw.
Funny with Kirk as well, is written a wee bit in your book about your poetry.
Oh, darling laddie, thanks. Darling, it was a lovely place to grow up in. It was lovely, it was couthy, it was kindly, it was real, it was nae nonsense. I loved it with all my heart. And only when I left it did I realise how I missed it. I loved it. Aye? Okay. I can't let this wee moment by. The kind of thing folks said in my kirk, if they were talking about somebody doing this or somebody that, and it was a Boland, somebody would say, aye, but the Bolands are all clever. And I remembered that. Great pride, and I thought, I'll get a badge made out of that. Darling, I loved it. Obviously, when I lived there, I loved it. And then only when I didn't live there anymore, I realised how splendid it had been. Beautiful. Hearing table. I came across 2 poems just recently, and it was about Kirk, seen from my eyes at the time. And I don't know what wee sprite it was that came and carried them away. But when I went to go and look for them again, I couldn't find them. So I was a bit downcast. It was a lovely, lovely place. And I remember a wee bit of the poem I lost. And it was a mining village. And I was trying to capture wee moments. And something was about about miners coming home, their handsomeness showing through pit dirt. Their handsomeness was, they were wonderful men.
Aye.
I mean, nowadays they'd be coming to try and inveigle them to become film stars. They were of their kind.
I think you're saying that's the men were all good.
Aye, and of their kind, the miners and the
I'm glad I'm keeping that.
you're a great laddie. You're a great laddie altogether. I
I think you'd be delighted to know we've got that poem in the book.
What's that, Ian?
That poem that you're talking about, the one about the miners.
Have you?
We have. Left no stone unturned, Josie Neill.
Stanley, thank you. I love that because I know I can put my hand in it again. Uh-huh. For the house to the nose. Aye. I love to be pagan. And his parents always went out to the Timmy's Brig, and where the wee monument stood, the monument to Timmy Pagan, and I think it was the Church of Scotland that provided Timmy with a wee house just by the River Garple. A wee house in the Garple water. Aye. Ye day, in the dead of winter, when the snow was birling like a peary in the wind, I squint the dyke and could over the fields in the teeth o' the blast. And the lonesome feeling that there was nane but me in thon white space, wind blown, with the crunchy, rime-hard tussocks at my feet, brocht me a frown, gloating feeling that laughed at the cold and the biting wind. Gin I reached the last stane dyke, the great lobes of my brew were throbbing in the cold December snail, I beg your pardon. I gathered my coat, even texture about me, and stamped the seepy snow frae off my bits, and wrap it down on the other side on coorie hunkers. By that beildy bit, I gawped in wonder at the raging blizzard, amazed at what I had done. That wee cosy cradle close to the dyke seemed all the world to me, sae safe and happy for the blast. Oh, there's my mammy waving. You ken, I admit now to feeling a bit forspoken, and would love to sit at the big fire and hear a wee rest. What was you all saying? We used to use. Oh, I've got it now. It was east, west, Ames, best. You can say that again. That's right, darling man, and because I loved William Neil. I'm trying to think if I took that in. I was delighted to be present at Willie Neil's gathering, but I don't know that I was. I suppose in a certain way I was quite a wee oddball maybe. Oh, that's a lovely, thanks for that. A pioneer. Thanks. Thanks, darling man. What a lovely man you are. My father, he's been gone this 12 months, but thrice I've seen him walking by, he'd into the wind. His hair was like coarse grass, for rhyme had settled. Lines ran in deep shocks to his moo, but the een was skinkling. This is me, held out his arm. Made the veins stone out like wires, and this hammering his heart. He's been gane this 12 months, yet thrice I've seen him shaken by, he'd into the wind. The last time he came that near on, I held my breath. He thanked they in on me and smiled, then gave on into the murk. I like Katie Morrison, and it was true. And I remember somebody said that line, Black Heeded Katie Morrison. And I said, I came that there was another, there was a red-headed Katie Morrison in my kirk at the time. And so I introduced it into my poem. Katie Morrison. That's it, darling laddie. When the northern wind was blowing and snow pudded all the dikes, I gaed with Katie Morrison, black-headed Katie Morrison, to visit her old mother on her rickety big bikes. When we came to Katie's granny's and from the low steeped techt, we climbed up on the windy sole and kicked in at the licht. We trafficked on the windy, and the old wifey come running. She broke us ben to the roaring fire, where a pot on the swee was hanging. She gave us broth and buttered bread for fear that we were boss, and she rowed her hands in her peeny roon till they were warm as toast. Afore we gaed, she gave to me a toty siller tassie, and said it was a mindin' for a bonny wee bit lassie. Aye, she's dead and gane noo many a year, but I keep yon farin', and when I hold it in my neave, yens meer, I'm just a bairn, running barefoot on the hill among the springy flowers, me and Katie Morrison, black-headed Katie Morrison, up and over the heathery knowes, through summer's golden hours.